Culture shapes how we define beauty, what is valued and expected of women in different societies. But today, beauty has become more important than ever. It's constantly emphasized and reinforced through global media and digital platforms that connect people from across the world. These norms are communicated and carefully staged in commercial from brands like Victoria's Secret, Gucci, and Caroline Herrera, where beauty is edited, polished, and impossible to maintain. These ads aren't just selling products, they're selling a standard. And the more we see it, the more it starts to feel universal. Until you realize it changes depending on where you are in the world. Because beauty is expressed differently across cultures, the influencers we're drawn to aren't random. We tend to like people who feel familiar, who share our interests, our style, or even just feel comforting to watch. But at the same time, a lot of influencers people admire also fit certain beauty standards that are constantly being reinforced online. So we're not just paying attention for entertainment, we're paying attention to people who reflect what feels normal to us. And when being asked what her favorite influencer is, my friend said her favorite influencer is
Emily Ann Roberts. You might know her from like Nashville's new big artist, but why I love her is because she calls herself the Yeehaw Mima, and she's not worried about keeping up with new trends and stuff like that. She's really into like canning and sewing and a lot of things that our grandparents are into, and I love all those things. So
What kind of content do you think that her followers like?
I think that they like more traditional content because I feel like everything is so industrialized now, and so a lot of farm to table eating and like living on your own property and home and stuff like that. I feel like that's not very big, and especially Nashville's culture now, it's kind of transferred more into like industrialized. So I think that her viewers like that kind of content.
What kind of content does she mostly post, or do you associate her with?
She does promote a lot of her music, so that's a lot of it, but it's also, like I said, like different sewing things that she's doing right now, or canning food, or she had Ella Langley come on her page the other day and they were canning food together. So yeah, I think a lot of traditional lifestyles, like grandparents.
Awesome. Who do you think, who would be another person that's not her, but like that you'd say a lot of people would say that their favorite influencer is? Like, what would you?
I would say a lot of people like Kylie Jenner definitely has a lot of work done, which I'm not totally against, but I think that it kind of normalizes it in our culture. I think a lot of the Kardashians and Jenners normalize that. I like especially talking about it because they have their own reality show. Her lips done, her mom had her face done, and that whole family really just normalized getting work done, I feel like.
What stood out in her response is that she's drawn to two very different kinds of influencers, and that contrast is really telling. On one hand, someone like Emily feels relatable. Her lifestyle, hobbies, and the way she presents herself reflects values that feel familiar. Things like authenticity, simplicity, and creativity. That kind of content can reinforce a sense of cultural identity and belonging. But at the same time, my friend also mentioned Kylie Jenner, who represents a much more idealized and highly curated beauty standard that's widely circulated in Western media. And that difference matters because it shows that media doesn't communicate just one version of beauty. It communicates multiple, sometimes conflicting ones. Some feel attainable and comforting, and some feel more aspirational and harder to reach.
Her influencer right now is Alex Earl. I think I look up to her in a lot of different ways. I think it's her strong work ethic fits the aspect of what a beauty standard is, but then she expresses to us how she's gone through so much to be at where she is at. And I feel connected to her in a sense that I've grown up having thoughts about how I look and how I see myself, and she's really made me realize that it doesn't matter what you look like, you're beautiful no matter what.
Alex Earl looks really good and inspires me to work out. Also has a funny personality. The party girl and likes to go out, they eat well during the week and have fun on the weekend, and that everything in moderation.
Alex Earl's pretty popular in America on TikTok, but in the clips that I'm showing here, you can see how beauty shows up differently across different cultures. And each of them working within a different set of expectations about what it means to look put together. But if you step into their position for a second, the experience isn't completely different. Whether it's clear skin and symmetry in South Korea, a more curated, enhanced look in Western media, or other region-specific ideals, the experience is pretty similar. And although the beauty norms across cultures can vary, we can still see how important beauty is. Social media is often described as a highlight reel because there's so much effort that's being done behind the scenes to curate these images. There's things like perfect lighting, angles, editing, filters, and then here in this case, Photoshop that make those images look real. A lot of this content is trying to balance different versions of beauty at once, and the amount of effort that goes into creating those images shows how important appearance is within a culture and what culture is defining as pretty.
Favorite influencer is Hannah Mojo. Videos, podcast. She's currently writing a book. Middle school, when she would make like these really crazy story time videos, you guys probably remember. Listen to mostly her podcast. She had one called Cancelled, but that one just ended. But now she has another one called Not Loveline with Trisha Paytas, where she co-hosts on. And yeah.
What's interesting here is that she's not just drawn to Tana for how she looks. Part of what makes Tana attractive is her personality. Attraction here reflects what people engage with, looks, personality, and how unfiltered a person is, and this is reflective of our values. These patterns of attention show a group's values and their culture. Another culture, engagement might center on modest presentation or restraint. These beauty standards aren't fixed, they're produced through attention and engagement on social media.
Who would you say, out of all the influencers, is your favorite influencer?
I would say Khloe Kardashian. I watch her fitness and health videos, or I'll even watch like her branding videos and marketing videos. I think her fans perceive her as raw because even when she was on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, she's always been herself. She's always been different from her sisters. And she's always had a true identity. So I think that's how people see her. I think she's famous and she's a good influencer because she is beautiful. She is what people consider beautiful, but she's worked so hard to get there, and she's very honest about her journey. Because clearly she has more money than a lot of us do. I think that she fits into the beauty standards because she was heavier in her previous time, and then she worked to be healthy, she worked to be independent and on her own with her health journey and what that looks like. I think that she and her whole family really kind of demonstrate the ideal beauty standard because they have had plastic surgery, but in their later years they've reformed that to reversing their surgeries, taking out their filler to be more authentic and to be more real.
Looking across all of this, beauty does not stay the same. It shifts depending on what people are seeing and engaging with in different spaces across the world. In some spaces, that looks like glass skin, soft makeup, and a more youthful appearance. In others, it's fuller lips, contoured features, and a more tanned look. And in other contexts, it can be about modern dress, covered clothing, and a more reserved, polished presentation. At the same time, there are spaces where being expressive, unfiltered, or even chaotic becomes part of what people find attractive. And on social media, all of those ideas exist together. Everybody's idea of normal is expressed online. Normal isn't objective though. It comes from what people in a space keep seeing and accepting. Social media facilitates what we see, so even as cultures differ, it shapes how we understand beauty and what that means to each culture.